What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're coming back from like a 3 to 4 year hiatus, I think we're going at now, pretty much. I decided we're going to be starting the channel back up, and I decided we'll start it off with BeamNG. And what we're going to be doing today is checking out a map mod. If you guys aren't familiar with who Cleetus Mcfarland is, I'll kind of give you a rundown real quick. He is a YouTuber, and he bought an abandoned racetrack called DeSoto Speedway down, I think it's actually in Bradenton, or it's just east of Bradenton, something like that. Either way, it's right next door to Bradenton Motorsports Park, which is also going to be included in this map. So he purchased DeSoto Speedway and renamed it the Freedom Factory, because of course. He has completely revitalized this facility and done an amazing job. He puts on amazing events. If you don't know who he is, go check out his channel, because it's really incredible what he's doing. If you have BeamNG and you want this map, you want to go into the repository here on the main menu, and you want to type in Freedom, and it'll be the only option that comes up. It is in beta right now, so there's probably going to be a few missing details here and there, but I'm sure once it's completely done, they'll be like in the map. They'll be complete. Everything will be there. So we're probably going to be seeing like a 99% finished map, but you know what? The little details really doesn't matter. Just the fact we have this in the game is absolutely wild. Alright, so I've spawned into the map here. You have two options when you go to load into the map. You have the option to start at the drag strip, or you have the option to start over at the Freedom Factory. I decided to do the drag strip first because the drag strip is very simple. It's a straight line. There's not a whole lot to it. It's accurate to the real thing, but there's a lot more to the Freedom Factory. The Freedom Factory is going to be our main thing we're checking out today, but it is really cool that we even have a drag strip. And it's funny because this is actually a working drag strip. The tree works, it has a timer, everything. So we'll do a quick run here. So you actually have to properly stage and everything. So you got one light there. Let's get the second light here. If I had a trans brake, this would be a lot easier. So we've got the equivalent of a Marauder here, supercharged V8. It's pretty quick. It's respectable. It's no stock Marauder, let's just say that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you watch the Cleetus channel, you know exactly what I'm saying. So you've got a couple different exits depending on how fast your car is. Like this, we didn't go super fast. I think we did like 100 miles an hour in the quarter mile. If your car's super fast, you're gonna want to go way down there. Hopefully, you don't end up in the bushes, because that would probably not be good. So we ran a 13.6 at 101 miles an hour. That's not too bad given how big this car is. But there's definitely room for improvement. This car has a lot of customization available, and I'll showcase that a little bit later. Let's just say it can go quite quickly. So we've got the gate over here, so that's all of Bradenton. It doesn't really expand farther than that. You can drive down the road, but the textures start to kind of become less and less. So there's this gate here to get over to the Freedom Factory. Obviously the driveway goes all the way down as well. So we'll rip on over to the Freedom Factory here. And you can see as it spawns in here, the lights spawn in, the fancy new lights and everything. Coming into the factory. Somehow that worked. I don't know how that worked so well. So we've got the concessions area and everything. So you can actually drive. You can drive all the way through here and get a view of this magnificent racetrack. It's absolutely insane how accurate this is, and it's awesome to have it in the game. So if you do watch Cleetus' channel, you'll see, or you would have seen back when he bought the track, shortly after it, or shortly after he purchased the track, they did a race with the Crown Vics off-road in that dirt pile back there. The dirt pile isn't accurate to the real thing, so there's no real point in using that. But, I mean, if you want to send it off a jump, go ahead. That's where you're going to go. Back here is where all the dead Crown Vics are, and you park all the trailers and the trucks and everything. This would be an awesome map to be able to play multiplayer with. There's an amazing amount of opportunity with this track to be able to utilize it and everything online. There's so many things you could do with it, and it's just like real life. You can do so many things with it in real life, and Cleetus does, that like the possibilities are endless on this game. So obviously we got the burnout pad down here. And how could I tour the Freedom Factory without doing a burnout? Now I do apologize. I'm not 100% sure why the tire squeal is so loud compared to the actual car. Because I'm sure the tire squeal is louder than my voice at sometimes, and I'm not sure why that is. There's no separate tire sound adjustment that I can do, because the engine isn't super loud. It's just the tires. I don't get it, because it's loud for me too, and I really don't understand what's going on. What's also awesome is whoever made this map went through and actually put all the patches that they've put into this track. You don't feel them physically in the car. The track is bumpy, but it's not bumpy in where each patch is. But the fact that they went through and they actually looked at all the patches and were like, okay, we got to put this here, this there, etc. It's absolutely wild. Nobody had to go to that much detail. They could have literally just put the asphalt texture, but they went through and it just, like, it makes it so much better. For such a big vehicle, this actually kind of rips. Will it drift, though? It sort of drifts. Now, speaking of drifting, I want to pull out some drift cars and see what they will do around this track. So the first one I'd like to test is this Drift Missile Crown Vic. I just want to see what it'll do. I feel like it might be a bit much. It makes just a hair under 600 horsepower. I need to switch this to manual. If any of you know how to adjust the tire screech, please tell me, because it's actually, it's a bit of a nuisance, even for me, because I can barely hear the car over the tires, and I should hear the car more than the tires. So this little guy rips pretty well. It is a little bit twitchy, though, I find. And you can kind of see it happened right there. The car straightened out and I tried to turn left to get it back into drift a little bit. And it didn't want to do it at all. It could also be the fact that I'm in fourth. That doesn't help it. I'm going to try and do this inner loop with it. See if it does any better. Okay, so it did better. So if you do use this car, don't go into fourth, and don't get your RPMs too low. So it doesn't like the high banks. It doesn't have a short enough gear ratio to use the high banks, unfortunately. But if you're just drifting this inner loop, or you're doing like a little drift course around here on the concrete pad, you're perfect. You're golden in this car. So the other car I'd like to test out is this bad. I'm assuming we probably have a 2J under the hood, or maybe a 1J. That's what it sounds like. I'm going to try it up the banks first. Okay, so this car, I know this is turning into like a drift car review, but this car drifts the bank a hell of a lot better than the orange Crown Vic did. You could kind of see when I straightened out and I turned left to get it back into drift, it would do it. It didn't fight me on that. I'd like to try and drift the wall. Oh, no, that didn't work. That didn't work. Come on, drift it. Nope. No, it's not doing it. Oh, I screwed up the alignment. It doesn't like me now. A couple more cars I want to test out, or actually one car I want to test out, is the Mustang. I have a Mustang that's modded into this game, and I feel like it would absolutely rip wherever it is, if I could find it. I'm probably looking directly at it, and I don't see it. Yes, I was looking directly at it. You guys are probably kicking your chairs like, dude, it's right in front of you. Okay, I want to check out, so I don't think either of these are drift cars. Gonna test them out anyways. I will say, it sounds absolutely amazing. I am going to turn traction and ESC off, because you don't need those. Not on a racetrack. Dude, this thing's quick. It gets a little bit loose. I'll say that. This thing's quick. Once you get it sideways, though, it's just like, yeah, you're not bringing it back pretty much. One thing I do wish, and maybe they can add this, I'd love to see... Oh, I just realized the green works. One thing I wish, and it's possible that they would add it, is a lap timer around this track. Because they did it with the drag strip. I'm sure they could probably do it with this. Oh. Well. Even if... Dude, this thing still friggin' rips even when it's broken. Okay, so the other car I wanted to check out was this. And hopefully we don't crash this one. GT350. I decided not to go with the R, but just at idle. This thing sounds amazing. I'll rev it up here for you. I'm going to turn ESC off here real quick. God, this sounds so good. That's an interesting detail. Look at this. Look on the trip meter in the screen. Temperature, cold, Fahrenheit. Fuel, not enough. Well. That was not intended. Let me fix that real quick. Alright. That was not intended. We will not drive in cockpit anymore. I don't know if anyone knows why, but if I'm directly behind the car, I don't hear the car. I just hear the tires and wind noise. You hear like a very tiny amount of the car, but if I go over here, you hear it perfectly fine. Like if I could be behind the car, That would be amazing. You could see how bumpy this track is. It gets a little bit sketchy if you're going fast and you're on the throttle. Imagine doing spectator drags online. Oh man, that would be insane. I love this car. I would love to own one of these one day. Definitely a dream car. Alright, so brought us back over to the drag strip here. And I've done some modifications to the Marauder. It's making a little bit more horsepower, as you can maybe hear. And see if you look at the boost cage and you can hear the backfires. It's making a smidge more power. And I've got nitrous now. So we're going to see how this thing runs. So I changed out the rear tires to more of a drag setup. I know they're steel wheels, but ignore that. So I think we ran like a 13 or something like that previously. I just want to enable the nitrous real quick. I know there's a button for it. I just don't remember what it is. So we're going to do that. Quickly bump. That was a very, very good launch. Apparently I topped out. Did I go? Somehow I went faster than I normally do. That's interesting. I hope that didn't ruin our run. It felt a little slow though, I'm not gonna lie. So we ran a 10.2 at 128. I'm barely certain it can go faster than that. I wonder if it's because I got smaller rear tires on it. Let me play around with that and we'll see what it does, because I think all the mods should have it running less than 10s. So I changed up the rear wheel setup. I went a little bit wider, so we were on 15/8. Now we're on 20/11, so it's wider and it's a taller tire. And I also realized that I didn't swap the ECU to an adjustable race ECU, so that should have us around where I want us to be. So now we're making over 1,000 horsepower. We're going to see what this thing will run. So we want to arm the nitrous. Get the tires nice and warm. Okay, enable the trans brake. Oh yeah. This is lock. Oh yeah, we're running 34 pounds of boost now. I think we were topping at like 28 previously. And also, if you decide to make this car a drag car, I would recommend upgrading your brakes, because if you don't, you're gonna have some problems. A 994 at 138. Told you. Alright, so since we got under 10s, I'm going to celebrate, and we're going to send it. Let's just put it that way. Oh no, my brakes have failed. Whatever will I do? It's a little bushy in here, ain't it? I don't exist anymore, apparently. Your transmission probably shouldn't be poking out like that. That's probably an issue. Alright, so I told you we were going to go full send. So we obviously smashed quite a few cars today. The one stuck in the bush over there, way over yonder. It's probably not coming out of that bush. It's probably going to stay there. It's just going to become one with nature. But that's part of the fun of this game. It's also not really what we were showcasing today. We were obviously showcasing an incredible map whoever made this map, kudos to you, because it's absolutely insane what will be done with this map, especially online. Spectator drags, drifting, Freedom 500, 2.4 hours of the mullets. You could do a Danger Ranger 9000 if there's a Ranger in this game. Maybe there is. Or I guess you could just use pickup trucks. Doesn't really matter. Possibilities are endless with this map. Go download it. It's a hell of a lot of fun if you've got this game. But with all that out of the way, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, give it a like. Also, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this. So if you enjoyed this video, you're probably going to enjoy the rest of them. But like I said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.